What is Tony's Chocolonely and what is their mission and goals?
Tony Chocolonely is an impact company that sells chocolate. So we are aiming for we are fighting for a fair industry for cocoa, meaning that we are focusing on a living income for farmers to get out of poverty, and the end goal is to sell 100% slave-free chocolate. We do that via our own chocolate brand, Tony Chocolonely, and we want to increase our impact also via Tony's Open Chain. And Tony's Open Chain is our open supply chain, of which also other choco companies can buy chocolate via our 5 sourcing principles.
What is your role within this organization?
I'm lead business planning and performance, and that means I'm responsible for, first of all, BI. So from extracting the data from the source systems until presenting it either via Power BI or the Excel add-on, so the tabular, to the business. And apart from that, I'm responsible for business control, and that's mainly focusing on the cost control of cost of goods sold, as well as business cases for new product development. Corporate finance is in there, and the FP&A cycle, so financial planning and analysis.
How does BIRDS support the organization in achieving their goals and fighting for their mission?
Yeah, BIRDS is it's very deeply embedded within Tony's. So especially from the operational side, people use the data from BIRDS daily, and that could be from making sales analysis, but also helping in planning procurement for supply, basically, and then the other part is Power BI, and that is more of a top-down guided dashboarding approach that we have also to support higher management with the insights.
What are the biggest data challenges for a food producer like Tony's?
Yeah, when you talk about our data, so we have different part in our supply chain that require different data or different views on the same data. So we have an own factory that requires data on productivity, on OE, on like really factory performance. Then we have the operations team. They are requesting data mainly from sales. So what is our demand plan? But they are looking from a different angle to the same number. So they want to know if we need to produce a 180 gram bar caramel sea salt or a dark chocolate, while for sales it's less relevant if it is a caramel sea salt or a dark chocolate, but it's much more relevant where do we sell against what kind of price. So there are different views on the same data. Yeah, I think that is the main challenge, to align everyone to get a single source of truth of looking at the data. Another one that I can add is on the impact side. So we measure the impact that we make in West Africa, collecting that data, ensuring the quality of that data, and also enriching that in our data warehouse. That's also a challenge for us. Yeah.
How does BIRDS provide tools to tackle these challenges?
So BIRDS, for us, in BIRDS, all the data comes together. And we have an open data democracy, so that means all the data is available for everyone within Tony's, either via a tabular in Excel or in Power BI. Having all the data central really helps to streamline the data, to ensure the quality of the data. And it also very much helps the business that they don't need to get the data themselves from the source systems directly. So a centralized data source, that is what it brings for us.
What kind of insights do you gain from daily reporting?
Yeah, that differs between operational insights, and for the operational insights we mainly use the tabular. So sales can get daily sales data, sales performance, they can enrich it with forecasts, so to really do in-depth analysis on how much caramel sea salt did we sell to Tesco in the UK, but also how much did a promotion do for Albert Heijn, for example. So those are more in-depth analysis. And also for operations, they use it daily to translate the demand from sales to a supply plan, a factory planning, or a procurement plan as well. And then we have Power BI that is more used for top-down insights. And for that we make use of real dashboards.
What is the most essential insights?
Then I'm looking more at the top-down insights. So we recently went live with our monthly financial performance report in Power BI, and that's automatically connected to a PowerPoint in which we use to communicate the monthly financial performance of Tony's. And in Power BI, it's not only a link to PowerPoint, but there's also we have all kind of graphs in there on trends, and we can dig deeper than solely see the P&L, but also do some high-over analysis in there as well.
Why did you choose not to build a system yourself?
I strongly believe in off-the-shelf systems, and since we are our business model is pretty basic. So we have an own factory, we buy bars, we distribute them, we are stock holding, and we sell it. So it's quite a standard flow, and in terms of service, development, it's much easier to take an off-the-shelf solution instead of building it yourself. Building it yourself requires a lot of knowledge from consultants or or you need to insource everything, and I don't think, given the business model that we have, that is needed. The only complexity is that we bring in impact data, but from a data perspective, it is pretty much the same. So we just extract it from an external source, and we bring it into our data model.
How do you find the collaboration with our consultants?
Yeah, we are really happy. So we went through quite a process together. So in the beginning, we were facing difficulties in a very unstable ETL, and there was a lot of investment also from the 9 altitude side to really get a proper ETL working again. So having that stable ETL in place really helped in partnering up together, solving the solution together, and on the day-to-day business, we experience a lot of dedication from the consultants on solving day-to-day issues, or if there is an ETL failure, they're really on top of it. So, yeah.
What are your expectations from Birds in terms of sustainability reporting?
Yes, sustainability reporting is something that we are already doing for, it's really part of our DNA. So we use Birds also for sustainability reporting. So we collect impact data from West Africa and already pull that into our model. So the insights are coming from Birds. The data needs to be much richer than what we currently have, and per requirement we evaluate whether or not to add it to Birds, and that depends on the frequently the data is provided, what kind of data it is, what is the output. So do we need to enrich the data? Do we need to do a lot of calculations, or is just the outcome already there? So we judge depending on the insights that we need to create, whether or not to add it to our data model.
How do you see the future in terms of data and insights?
Yeah, I think so. When I look at data for Tony's, so we are a fairly small company, and in the last 2 years we're really focused to get the basics right, to get more flexibility in our ETL, and that helped us now that we can scale up, and that will mean so the fancy topics, real-time data or AI. Those are the typical techniques that people like to talk about. And our approach is that we really look at the need from the business, and based on the need from the business, we see what's technically possible. So if we look at real-time data, we are a B2B business. So for 80% of the business, I don't think that is really required. So it would be a nice to have, but having 2 or 3 times the sales data updated per day would already be, I think that will be quite sufficient for Tony's at this point in time. AI is something that could be useful when analyzing and projecting sales. So for forecasting reasons, and we have we call it a Choco Fan Care team, so a customer service, of which AI, we are actually working on it at the moment, that we are able to do sentiment analysis, that we automate that. And provide the insights on, okay, what are the main concerns, the main issues that our customers are facing.
Why would you recommend birds to other food producers?
Yeah, so for us, birds really helps us in centralizing the data, and it helps us to provide one source of truth to the whole organization. So we have an open data democracy, so everyone can access all the information either via the tabular but also in Power BI. So having one source of data available and tapping that either from Power BI or from Excel, that really helps us to help the business on operational matters. So operations is using birds every day in their activities, in-depth sales analysis, but also top-down insights on financial performance, but also on sales and forecasting.